Hello, my name is Mciver. I'm a prospective student of the Multimedia and Broadcast Journalism course at Ravensbourne University in London. The footage that you're about to see forms some of my work over the past year, where I've been attempting to present my ideas, my project and my ambition to the camera and to the wider world. You will see some of my early work where I was learning how to use editing softwares such as DaVinci Resolve and learning how to present an idea concisely to the camera. Later on you'll see one of my speeches that I tried to performed on stage, talking on the topic that we are political animals and we have a role to play in the way our lives are governed. You will also see one thing I'd like to also use and do throughout my career, which is my music. You will see one clip of me playing the guitar, and after that you will see some of my more recent work. On one end when I am simply talking to the camera as I've done today, positioning the phone, attaching the mic and speaking one of my ideas, and on another end the work I've been doing for the Blue Guitar Project, which is a documentary film that is going to be showcased at the Venice Film Festival later on this year, for which I did interviews on the subjects of what is freedom. And it talks about getting more music education to the younger generation and inspiring our children to have the freedom to dream, to create and show their art to the world. It was an excellent experience and forms essentially my first experience as a reporter, as a journalist, as a person asking questions and creating a story for an audience. I hope you will enjoy what I have to offer, and I hope you will accept me into the course. Thank you very much, and please enjoy.
We are living in the post-Enlightenment era. The values, ideas and philosophies of those times made the world that we live in today, but they are now outdated, and they need some form of revision. Philosophies and ideas like liberal democracy, capitalism, ownership rights, privacy rights, human rights, secularism, they're excellent and they made the world that we now live in today and the floor that we now stand on. But as you can see, our world is decaying and it's heading to some form of collapse or another. And this is partly due to our inability to change, adjust or reform the foundational ideas that were made during the Enlightenment. Just for example, capitalism. It's an excellent idea that literally rose the world out of poverty and built the world that we live in today, the Industrial Revolution. All these things is capitalism. It's beautiful. But it seems to be an excellent idea that is now exhausted. For example, mass consumption, economic divide and inequality, climate collapse. All these things are massively fueled by the idea of capitalism. And if we are to evolve as a species and continue safely through time, we've got to be able to reform or adjust certain ideas, certain foundations that were made during the Enlightenment, and not put ourselves in a box of dogma where we fear change and we run ourselves into the ground. Capitalism is just one example of many. There are many, many ideas that are causing the decay of our world. And we will not be saved just by waiting it out or hoping that a president reforms a certain law. Real change must happen. And that's why I started this channel, and that's the reason for finalism, real change adjusted with truth and human evolution. If we are to evolve as a species and survive the years to come, we need to radically rebuild the education system. Just let me explain why and how. Education is one of the most important pillars of society. It's how we pass down knowledge, values, norms, culture. It's like this now, and it's like that since we used to be hunter-gatherers in tribes. Education is what prepares the next generation for the world that they're going to face. It's how societies pass down identity and ensure their own survival. Without education, there is no society. And today we have an education system, something that everyone goes through, everyone is shaped by, and that itself is a pretty impressive feat of humanity, and we have to recognise it. But what does this system actually teach us? The system that we currently rely on was designed during the Industrial Revolution with the sole purpose of producing obedient factory workers. That was 200 years ago, and we're suffering the consequences now of training our population as if they're going to work in factories in the age of collapse that we're in. Seriously, every single issue you can pick out about the state of the world today, is sharpened and deepened by the fact that the people aren't prepared for the world they're about to enter. Okay, just to name a few. Economic divide. People aren't trained in the mechanics of capitalism, money, marketing, hard work, or anything of the sorts. And what happens is you get a population full of people that are overwhelmed by the complexity of economics, who then get taken advantage of by the people who do understand it. Another one I could mention is the crisis of identity. People aren't trained in understanding themselves, their preferences, their biases, their delusions, their emotions, their relationships, anything that surrounds them and their world. And this results in a massively confused society that suffers because they don't understand themselves and the complexity of what they're in. And in a world that preaches democracy and freedom, the people should at least know how to govern themselves. I cannot stress this enough. If we do not transform education, humanity will not evolve. We will move closer and closer to collapse. And once artificial intelligence, climate collapse, and nuclear war have passed the threshold, extinction follows. So, now that we're here, how do we change this system and what do we change it to? The goal of education must be to cultivate the full human being. Every student must be trained to pursue their final form through the medium of truth. In a future curriculum, there would be a philosophical core, so logic, rhetoric, philosophy, psychology. It would demand radical self-knowledge, artistic exploration, basically just the full understanding of who you are. Cooperation and relationships would be a massive part of this because, humans being of a social nature, that's how we survived and that's how we dominate the earth. So cooperation would be massively important. And one recent thing that is particular would be technology. Children must be taught how to master AI, not be mastered by it. We are already seeing the issues of people relying on AI to make their essays where they can't even think for themselves anymore. If we allow that to happen, it will just multiply and it will be its own crisis. So students must be taught how to use AI to sharpen thinking, not to replace it. These are just a couple of things that would go in the curriculum. And it would never be final. It would improve upon any new information that is valuable. What I'm demanding and what is necessary for our evolution is that our entire perspective on education change, culturally, morally. There must be a philosophy that's kind of implemented within culture of how we see education, where a society is only as good as its people. The goal of education in this society would be to produce people that evolve society as a whole. A society that is able to understand complexity because it was trained for it beforehand. A society that is trained in spotting corruption, that isn't satisfied with the outcomes of their political system. A society that is trained in seeing the lies of the media, the polarization. If we let our population go untrained, we collapse, and as I mentioned before, just go extinct. This video isn't just me complaining or whatever. I'm asking you to get angry, to start demanding change. If we don't evolve our youth, we don't evolve as a species. And it's up to us, it's our mission to make the change that the ones before us didn't. This isn't just a video, this is a movement, and your support is absolutely necessary. The world won't evolve on its own, and it's up to us to direct and guide it correctly, with philosophy, with reason, and with truth. Thank you.
What I'm here is to call that we have a voice. And democracy only exists when people speak. That we, as a household, as a community, as a species, as a society, as a civilization, can only make the change we want to see in the world and in our household if we speak up, if we suggest our ideas, if we say, no, I have a better vision and I want to suggest it. And you know what, I'm going to actually talk to my housemate about it. And I'm going to talk to the person in my community. I'm going to talk to that. Oh yeah, I'm going to bring people together and I'm going to try and make this happen. We have agency over the society and the community that we build. Everyone in this room has agency. You have power. You have a voice. And not only do you have a voice, but you have a responsibility to use it. Whether that be in your household, or whether that be in your society. Because the problem that we've had right now is we've been so disconnected from the decisions that are made in our society, that we now don't even speak up. We see the shit that's going on and just think, oh my God, that is ridiculous, what is happening? But we don't bother to act against it. In fact, we don't even have mediums because we're divided. Our society is going downhill because the people that need to speak, which is us, don't speak. And instead, the decisions still get made. They do not represent us. What I'm trying to do tonight here is a call to action, to ask you to speak, to have your voice, to communicate with the people around you, to go, oh, do you agree with that? Yeah, this is shit, isn't it? Well, let's do something. To speak up in any way you believe you can. And not necessarily at the societal level, go and punch Keir Starmer in the face. Your community, your household, change it. I see this, this could be better. Get involved. We're disconnected, but we have power. Explore your agency. Explore the things that you can change. Have a vision of the society you want in the future and strive for it. You have the power, quite literally. So I want to bring you into this. What I'm trying to do is give people hope. Because now more than ever, it is time to give ourselves a voice. Because I said that the world is fucked, and none of you flinched. We all agree. You know what that means? Consensus is being reached. Change is about to come. And I know this because history is the best teacher. The Enlightenment, the Renaissance, periods in history of extreme societal change, because the people were fed up of the status quo, fed up of the power structures, fed up of the things that were happening in society. Sounds like unique, doesn't it? Sounds quite similar. There's a civilizational shift on its way, but it will not happen if we do not speak and if we do not use our power, as small as it may be. Humanity is a household, and each of us have a role to play in picking up the table and slightly just nudging it over there. A civilizational shift is on its way. Be excited. And I'm not saying for you to start joining a party. I'm just asking you to start getting excited, to start striving for something, start having a vision of the future society, having a vision of what world you want to live in, because it actually is coming. The power structures are destabilizing. All this shit we're hearing on the news, everyone is hearing it, and everyone is becoming fed up. A civilizational shift is on its way, and it's only in our power to speak that we can hear each other and we can cooperate on the change we want to bring. And I talk to you as people in this room, as artists, as people who appreciate coming on stage like this, because you have the capacity to speak in a different way, through our music, through our ability to bring people together. Matt, bringing people in this room for me to be able to give you this message. Organize things, conversations, go to more things, learn more, get more involved in the change that is coming, because it is. I have hope for the future, and I want to fucking give it to you. We are in the middle of a civilizational shift, systemic, social. People have had enough of the status quo, and voices are starting to appear. And I want you guys to add yours to the pile. Thank you very much, guys.
Yes, Oscar.
And yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Unbelievable. Thank you very much, Oscar, for that.
What you're about to see next forms some of my most recent work that I did with the Blue Guitar Project, which is preparing a documentary that is going to be shown at the Venice Film Festival this September. And it is not yet ready, it's not yet published, but I've got some of the footage that I took of it and put it together in this little montage, if you will. So it shows some of the work I do speaking to the camera, and it shows some of the work that I've done essentially in going around London and asking these questions that are to do with freedom, to do with the young next generation of kids and music and the beauty of the world. It will also show a little thing I did, sort of reportage on a artist who is a busker and who is actually homeless. And well, it's a lot of the footage, a lot of it will be shown in the actual documentary. What I've presented here is some of the work I actually did, and I just did like one thing where it's me in a speech and basically some B-roll footage that I took of him during this trip. So yeah, I hope you enjoy.
Hello, here we are in Antibes in the south of France, going to make our way to Cannes soon and ask people about the questions of freedom and liberty, but in French this time. Could bring you over to see the guitar, put a strap on it, and this is how people are going to be carrying it. There it is, our beauty, and we're going to be basically handing it to people and giving them a strap like this, and then asking them, what does freedom mean to you? Let's do it. Join us on today. Let's have fun. Here we are. Let's do this. Right, so here we are at the festival, in front of the stairs, the famous steps, and we're going to start stopping people on this little road and asking them what they believe freedom is, in French and English, whatever language they come up with. So yeah, let's do it. What does freedom mean to you?
For me, freedom is doing what your dil says. Dil means heart in India. So doing whatever your heart says, for me freedom is that. And there's nobody to judge you. Nobody's there to tell you what to do and what not to do. So just fly high.
Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Brian DeRosen, LA-based actor and filmmaker here for the Cannes Film Festival. What freedom means to me? That's a very personal question because I came from a place where dreaming wasn't really allowed. Being an actor, being in France even, was not something that was common or even really discussed or taken seriously. And to me, freedom means that not only can you dream, but you can pursue those dreams. And to see them come to life is something that you want to spread, you want to share to others. So if this is helping to share the dream of freedom with children, then sign me up. I'm all for it.
What does freedom mean to you?
To be able to make your own choices and not having any restraints or restrictions on what you choose to do.
What does freedom mean to you?
Living in a world where I don't feel scared walking home at night. Not to be deep or anything, but I am going through a process right now where I was followed home a couple days ago, so I am a little shaken up, which is why we're here at the park. I feel like I am a person of color, so it's also not being scared of microaggressions or feeling unwelcomed in certain spaces or being afraid to be me, because it's kind of hard to be me when in actuality it's like I'm a human being too, and it's kind of underrated.
What does freedom mean to you?
To me it means the ability to wear whatever clothes you want and express yourself in whatever way you feel comfortable.
Spending this time with Talum and Blackstar has made me realise that there is no excuse to not show your art to the world. No matter what position you are in, no matter where you find yourself in the world, you have the freedom to show what you are capable of. And you have the responsibility to show it as well. If you are of the younger generation, like myself, you know that the world that we live in simply isn't that which we are capable of. And the thing is, in the times to come, it will be the artists, it will be the people who had the freedom to dream, that rise up and that show the world that we are capable of beauty and that we are not to be divided and fragmented the way we are. We are human beings and we are artists, and it's those that have the freedom to understand that make the world a better place and that can save us from where we are going. This is the Blue Guitar, and we are fighting for freedom and for a better world. So yes, here we are at the end of my portfolio, and I want to just take this moment quickly to explain some of what I want to be essentially going forwards with at university, and the project I'm going to be leading in London in a certain sense. So what I am is a thinker, an artist, and I would like to essentially get good at media and journalism to be able to effectively present my ideas. The main mission that I am leading is to bring together thinkers to essentially initiate an intellectual revolution to align our civilization with the philosophical concept of human potential. So to begin the discussions, to propagate the ideas, and to create a media platform for essentially this intellectual movement, where we're going to be suggesting ideas of how do we need to design our societal systems, our education, our economy, our governance, and our culture around human potential. How do we install human flourishing as the organising principle of society, and what does that mean? Explaining these things in detail. And then beyond that, actually essentially creating this media platform for the propagations of the idea of the next revolution, the next societal shift, and not only giving a media platform but also creating that cultural narrative. And the name that I'm working on and I'm essentially giving it is the Realignment Project. This is the mission and the cultural initiative to realign our civilization with human potential. So what I want to do is essentially create a media platform to be able to propagate those ideas effectively, and to platform philosophical discussions, cultural events, and essentially lead this societal movement from this channel. And essentially have all the ideas that I want to show of my ideas for how to redesign society, and also giving a spotlight to thinkers and intellectuals who have ideas to make society better, and leading from there. Also establishing essentially a modern humanist movement, a modern renaissance, a movement based on the philosophical framework of humanism, based on human potential and reason as the method by which we know things, and establishing that as an actual cultural movement that people can join, be a part of, to basically participate to this redesign of society, and to this shift that we must initiate in this time in history. I'm also going to be mobilizing young people around these universities and beyond, and not only the young people, and gathering them together at a institution called the Royal Society of Arts, Manufactures and Commerce, which basically is an institution that was created 270 years ago for the purpose of bringing people together to improve society. And right now it's quite dormant, it's got poor management, it's not very active, the fellowship, it has a fellowship, isn't active and isn't involved. And what I want to do is essentially reactivate the institution with a modern movement, a modern initiative called, in this case, the Realignment Project. The mission to bring together thinkers and to, in a certain sense, unify humanity, to redesign our society and realign it with what we are capable of, with human potential. So yes, many of these ideas that I just basically sent, I've got them recorded in my phone, but not edited or published, and very unpolished, unclean. And what I want to do is essentially come to a media course to be able to learn how to get these ideas effectively from out of my mind, the page, and into a format that is clean, well edited, and can be published. I also want to concentrate on podcasting, which is one of the main things I want to do. and basically creating a whole media platform of intellectuals participating to this project to realign society, and hosting, focused discussions, and generally also being a journalist of things and organisations and projects in the world that are aligned with the betterment of humanity and making the world a better place, and being a journalist and giving these people a platform and propagating what they're doing to the wider world. Essentially, yeah. But I hope you've enjoyed this portfolio. I hope you think I'm suitable for the course, and hope to see you in September. Thank you very much anyway for everything. Have a lovely rest of your day.